So 35, you're looking to find y prime. You know, one option on 35 is it looks like it wouldn't be too bad to isolate y before you start doing any derivatives. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the 2x over, make it negative. So I'll have 1 minus 2x on the right. And then each piece that's left on the left-hand side has a y in it, so I'll factor it out. So y times x plus 3. So I'm one step away from explicitly having y solved for. So it turns out y is 1 minus 2x over x plus 3. So the whole goal here is to find y prime. So you're sitting at a spot where you can just use the quotient rule and you can find y prime. 36, the next problem you had was we're searching for y prime, and you started with 5x to the 4/5 plus 10y to the 6/5 equals 15. I'm really not that excited about explicitly solving this thing for y. I'm not. I'd have to move some things around and then ultimately raise both sides to the 5/6 power. I mean, I guess it could be done. Let me try it real quick. So let's move the 5x to the 4/5 over. So you got 15 minus 5x to the 4/5, and that's 10y to the 6/5. So I divide both sides by 10 to get me one step closer to having y explicitly solved for. So 15 minus 5x to the 4/5 divided by 10. Then if you raise both sides to the 5/6 power, so you're sitting with 5/6, so the only way to get rid of the exponent of 6/5 is to hit it with a 5/6. So then when you multiply these two exponents, you'll get 1. So I started this, I said, hey, I know I'm looking for y prime. I wanted to see if I could isolate y. Turns out I could. It's not going to look that pretty, but that's okay. Sometimes you're not going to be able to isolate y, and you'll have to go ahead and do implicit differentiation, which says start the derivative process before you're at a y equals thing. So you got y equals, and this will be bad, 15 minus 5x to the 4/5 over 10 to the 5/6. So now I'd take the derivative of both sides. Before I actually do take the derivative of both sides, I'm going to clean this thing up a little. I'm going to rewrite this, the inside of the parentheses, as 1/10 multiplied by 15 minus 5x to the 4/5. So you'll see why I did that here in just a sec. Okay, so derivative of both sides. Derivative of y is y prime. Derivative, okay, then I got some functions, some layered things going on. I'm going to have chain rule. So that outside power is 5/6. So the 5/6 comes out front. 1 off of 5/6 is negative 1/6. I got to recopy what's on the inside. 1/10 15 minus 5x to the 4/5. And then I go to the inside, so I want to be able to say, what's the derivative of this inside stuff? Well, I have 1/10 times a function. So the derivative of 1/10 times a function is 1/10 times the derivative of that function. So the derivative of what's in green there, well, the 15 goes away. All I have to consider is, I don't know if that'll show up, is this. So the derivative of what's in that purple box. So I got a minus 5, and then the 4/5 comes out front of it, and then it's x. 1 less than 4/5 is negative 1/5. I could definitely clean that up a little. think I lost an exponent here when I copied. This was negative 1/6. So, you know, things that I do to quickly clean this up, that 5 and that 5 would cancel. This 4 divided by 10 is 2/5. So I could do that. So this thing over here is 2x to the negative 1/5 over 5 times, so I got a 5/6, 1/10, 15 minus 5x to the 4/5. Once again, that could be cleaned up, but I don't need to. I would just leave that as your answer. So that was a bear. You had to first explicitly solve for y. It might be on the quiz. I got time just to start one more. 37. Oh, 37 is a good one to get through. Let's say in 37 I don't explicitly solve for y before I start this one. So I've got xy to the 1/2 equals 1. If I take the derivative of both sides with respect to x, the right side turns into 1, or 0, sorry. The left side, let's see, I got 1/2 times something to the negative 1/2. What's going to go in the middle there is just xy. And then I got to multiply by the derivative of the inner function. Well, what's the derivative of x times y with respect to x? That's going to be a product rule. Okay. You have the product of two functions. You got x and y. So product rule would say leave the x alone. What's the derivative of y with respect to x? It's y prime. Plus, take the derivative of x with respect to x. Leave the y alone. So you are sitting with 1/2 xy times xy prime plus y equals 0. Your task at this point would be to manipulate this so that you... Oh, negative 1/2 right here. Good call. Your task now would be to manipulate this so that you could isolate the y prime, which might not be that easy. But you got some algebra to do there. But that's what implicit differentiation would look like. If you would have went back to the beginning and simply squared both sides, you'd have had xy equals 1, then you could have divided off the x, but there you go. That's 37. At this point, I'm going to expect that you're probably at 2 when it comes to that assessment tomorrow. You're going to know how to start some of the problems, but actually cleaning it up and finishing it, you're not going to be there yet, and that's just fine.